I've been trying to avoid talking about this situation for about a good couple weeks now, but too much stuff has gone on, and we kind of can't let this go on any longer. As a Nets fan myself, I have to talk about this, and I need y'all's thoughts because there's a lot of information and a lot of rumors, a lot of reports swirling around Cameron Boucher-Thomas, and I am not happy whatsoever. So obviously he's a restricted free agent. The Nets tendered the qualifying offer to him. Obviously, they kind of declined. He declined the qualifying offer, which means they're going to have to pay him a lot more. So a lot of stuff has sort of gone. There's a few tweets that we're going to put on the screen right now. The first one coming from NBA Central. He's kind of looped into this with Josh Giddey and Jonathan Kuminga. They're all reportedly seeking $30 million a season in their rookie extensions. And according to the Steinline, said, since there's no cap space teams in the circulation to emerge with an offer sheet to any of these three guys, Brooklyn appears to be in no rush to expedite discussions with Cam Thomas, his representation. Thomas, like Kuminga and Josh Giddey, is said to be seeking a salary in the range of $30 million a year.
Wow.
Do you want to know what the Brooklyn Nets offered Cam Thomas?
Yeah, I saw this tweet.
Let me hear. Let me see this.
2 years for $28 million total. $14 million a year. That is just beyond disrespectful. We have loads of cap space, by the way. I don't even think we're at the salary floor yet. Mm-hmm. $14 million a season is diabolical.
Can you pull up some other players, or at least name some players off the top of your head that are getting that type of money right now? Like, who's getting 2 years, 28 mil, 14 mil a year?
I'll tell you right now.
Who are some players?
Let me look it up. Well, I mean, Bradley Bill's making like around that. Obi Toppin's making that kind of money.
Okay.
Malik Beasley was making that kind of money.
Malik Beasley, okay.
Dorian Finney-Smith was making that kind of money before he signed his extension with the Rockets.
Okay.
And Quentin Grimes is also trying to ask for in the realm of a little bit more than that.
Yeah. So why is that disrespectful? I mean, all the guys you just listed, I feel like Cam Thomas is in that tier.
I think he's better. I'd take him over Obi Toppin any day of the
Really?
week. Yeah.
In terms of winning basketball, I'm not saying Cam Thomas is not a winning player.
He's never been in that situation yet. So
right, and that's why I can't say that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is Obi has been in those situations, and he has come through, and he has showed up.
But there's differences between a role player and someone who's like a first or second option on a team. Like Obi came off the bench. Like if Obi was a starter, he would be making Derek White type money. Remember, Derek White's making like 5 years, 126 or 128. Cam Thomas, fun fact, is also the only player in NBA history to average 15 points a game in under 25 minutes a game in his career.
Solid.
He's very solid. We obviously know he had that flurry in 2023, scoring 40-plus in three straight games.
He can hoop.
We know what this kid is capable of. Yeah. He's incredible. And, unfortunately, due to all the contract stuff, he put on his Instagram story the other day, said, stop believing everything that's put out, heart 24, which is his jersey number, and he unfollowed the Nets on Instagram.
Wow.
Shattered my heart, man.
He might be out.
He might be out, but there's no team that's going to offer him, Kuminga, or Grimes, or Giddey any of this type of money.
No way.
So these four players have absolutely zero leverage in any situation whatsoever.
Yeah.
And to make things even worse, Zach Lowe. Love Zach Lowe, one of the greatest basketball minds on social media, one of the best analysts that we've seen, had some pretty harsh words for Cam Thomas. We'll put the tweet on the screen. He said, the consensus on Cam Thomas, if there is one, and he's got some fans, and he's got some mega detractors, but the consensus kind of like the empty calories ball hog guy.
Wow.
And then Cam Thomas quote tweeted this, and he said, the consensus, bleep you and the consensus. This most likely the same consensus teams who can't guard me and send double teams from jump ball. Why are we double teaming a guy who's not that good? Make it make sense, please. Now, if you're complaining about being doubled, I don't know why he's doing that, but it just seems to me that Cam Thomas is getting the short end of the stick here as far as his PR goes.
I mean, I understand why he said bleep you to that guy, because
himself.
Not just that, this guy has some sort of influence over how much people get paid in the NBA, right? Now, if he's saying something negative towards you, that's going to affect how much you could potentially get paid. Now, if this guy was saying something positive, like, man, whoever gets Cam Thomas, they're gonna get, you're gonna have a great player, all this and that.
Yeah.
Then that raises his value. So of course he's gonna be pissed. right?
And I mean, that's something Jeff Teague said on his podcast. When you're in that primary scoring role, you're always going to get underpaid.
Yeah.
Why do you think Derek White got a bag? Because he isn't that scoring guy.
Yeah.
He'll have some good games, but he was there guarding the team's best offensive player, and that's why he got that type of money. That's why Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith are going to get humongous bags next season. That's just kind of how it goes.
So I kind of have a general consensus of, because we've been trying to figure out the RFA situation. Santi Aldama signed the first day when we were live streaming. So what I've been looking at, so the top 4 RFAs that are left are Kuminga, Cam, Giddey, Grimes. I'm going to separate Grimes and Giddey from Cam and Kuminga. So it seems like the stuff with Giddey and Grimes is that they took off this contract year, both of them individually.
Yeah.
So they're commanding a lot more money, but this is IO, the Julius Randle situation. We paid Randle a year too early. He completely flops. The year after, we send him out.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Giddey, again, after left OKC, Chicago's with, but Chicago's in purgatory. Giddey could regress next year because he got paid. Grimes could regress because he got paid. It's a whole motivation type of
Yeah,
thing,
so
like what Randall did.
Right.
Are you saying the
The
Nets are doing that?
difference, no.
Okay.
Thomas and Kuminga are a big difference.
Okay.
The thing with Thomas and Kuminga is the injury problems. Because Cam this year, unfortunately, was out for a good amount of time. Kuminga, different situation in Golden State. I think that offer was based off of what he's given them so far this past couple years, with minus because he's not played the full 82. So they see him as a 15 mil player a year.
Yeah.
But when healthy, I think that does double to 30 mil because we know what he can put out for a full 80 games a season. Same thing with Kuminga.
Right.
So right now they're valuing each other for a full 82 games. But again, if Cam signs a $30 million RFA deal, Kuminga does the same thing, and we have the same injury problems where Cam's playing less than 40 games a year.
Well, let me tell you
playing
something.
less than 40 games a year. You're kind of stuck in a situation different than Giddey and also Quentin Grimes.
That's very easily fixable in the contract world because you can easily sign a contract where you only get the 30 mil a year if you're healthy and if you're playing a certain amount of games. Whereas if you were injured some of those games, some of that money gets taken out of your contract. Right? That's easily
But
fixable.
That's a big problem with the NBA. Remember, we're in the player empowerment era.
Yeah.
And that's the main reason why Kyrie requested a trade from the Nets, because there were tons of stipulations and everything of that nature. And players want the guaranteed money. That's the biggest thing for them. And we're seeing Zion going through it right now. There's like a water weight sort of clause in his contract. And otherwise, I think Zion probably would be on a different team right now. If he had the balls to say no to that contract. The players want the guaranteed money. Cam Thomas, like, again, some injuries are out of players' controls. Like, any player can tear their ACL or their Achilles at any
Exactly.
point.
Yeah.
So to have that stipulation on the contract is it's just a risk that's not
true.
worth taking.
The craziest thing is I understand Giddey and Quentin Grimes. Cam Thomas and Kuminga, probably two of the most young, up-and-coming guys when healthy, should have gotten paid before Giddey and Grimes, in my opinion.
And they still can.
They still can, exactly. This, I think, drags out to the month before the season begins, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
I could see it happening.
at that moment in time, both sides are eager, sides compromise, less money is taken, and we get to work.
Wait, so Anthony, I want to ask, be clear on this. How much do you think Cam Thomas is actually worth?
Well, if we're talking about a fully healthy Cam Thomas, if I'm being honest, that $14 million deal it's a lot of money because it's millions, but for what his role is going to be on the Nets, it should be a lot more.
Okay, so what are we talking about?
Because if I'm being honest, for Kuminga and Cam, I would go no more than $22 to $25 million a year.
Okay.
If we're going to Giddey and Grimes, I would say probably around the same thing.
Tyler, what do you think?
That's what I would plateau it at.
I would give him what he wants.
The full 30, everything he wants.
Well,
What has he done for you? Like as the Nets franchise.
This is
you
the
know?
problem with both him and Jonathan Kuminga, because they've both been benched for no reason at all. The
Yep.
Warriors were trying to tank Kuminga's value. The Nets were trying to tank Cam Thomas's value. Jacques Vaughn didn't see eye to eye with Cam Thomas. That's why he didn't play much in the playoffs. And had Cam, like, imagine if Cam Thomas had been the consistent starter after those 3 games when he dropped 40 plus and when Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving got traded. He just wasn't given that opportunity. He just wasn't put in the right spots by the organization. So his value, we don't really know what his true value is. Cam Thomas is the ultimate wild card in this situation. And the same with Jonathan Kuminga. You know, he didn't play a major role in their championship, but he played a role. And he was injured last season for a good amount of games, and they benched him because they didn't want to pay him $200 million. So it's an unfortunate situation that these 4 players have found themselves in. And
I also was going to say, because we usually hear about teams giving them offer sheets. Why isn't any team sent an offer sheet to any of these guys yet?
because no one has cap space.
I understand that, but regardless of the numbers, you can send an offer sheet because then they have to match that offer sheet for Brooklyn, for Chicago, for Philadelphia, for.
But you got to remember that these 4 teams, if you give Jonathan Kuminga or Cam Thomas $30 million a year, the Nets and Warriors probably won't match it. And here you are as the Detroit Pistons giving Cam Thomas an offer sheet, and you're over the cap space. Then you're kind of screwed. So there's a lot of risk. Remember, this new TV contract doesn't go into effect until like another 2 or 3 years. So the salary cap's only set at like 189 right now. And some teams are already hovering around that 170, 180 range. The Nets are one of the only teams in the NBA with cap space, and we're just not using it. I don't know what our plan is with Cam Thomas. If you had to tell me right now, if it was about a week ago, I would say everything's fine. Everything will boil over, and he'll be a Brooklyn Net.
Gio,
I don't know.
You know, we didn't mention this, but last year, Nick Claxton got $25 million a year, and they offered Cam Thomas half of that. Cam Thomas does more than half of what Nick Claxton
but you have to
does.
understand
Nick Claxton plays
market.
Nick Claxton plays both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And
the market for centers is not as big as the market.
the market for the centers has gotten better. My only gripe with it is that he didn't have a good contract year, but it's fine. Claxton's also on a descending contract, so he made like 30 mil this year. He'll make like 24 next year and whatnot. But again, if Cam Thomas would have been in a better situation last year, but he was drafted in 21, you can't control it, and it's just a situation you find yourself in. And you know, Day'Ron Sharpe is not as explosive or fiery as Cam Thomas. He's insanely productive, which is why he got the MLE level contract. So it kind of just is what it is. And as a Nets fan, I'm just having to learn to accept the fact that
he may be gone.
And our front office has completely mismanaged the past 4 years with most of our good players.
Okay, quick question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't watched much of Cam Thomas, so I can't say. But I know you can, Tyler, and maybe you, Anthony. And the question is, the people want to hear, they want to know, is Cam Thomas what the people say he is, which is an inefficient shot chucker, scorer player? Like, is that what he is? Or if he's not that, what is he?
I don't get narratives with, like, being the Brooklyn Nets, we're the little brother in New York. A lot of our players get, you know, a negative connotation around us because everyone's all about the New York Knicks and stuff like that. If Cam Thomas played for the Knicks, he would be like an MVP conversation. That's how it would typically go. He's not an inefficient shot chucker. Maybe his first couple of years he was scoring 30 points on 30 shots, but he's gotten so much better over the past couple of years. The problem is he doesn't get a lot of playing time because of Jacques Vaughn, and it put almost like, oh, he's like a fluke. He's a 15-game wonder and stuff like that. Where, to be quite honest with you, Cam Thomas is as efficient from the mid-range as it gets. He was in like the 95th percentile on mid-range percentage alone. And like, do you realize how hard that is to do for so many players? Like, you're up there with some of the best shooters in the game, like DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Durant. Like, he's efficient from the field. But because he's the first option on a team that's not good, they're calling him an empty stats, like a good player, bad teams kind of guy where the stats don't mean anything. And look, he's a primary scorer. He's not going to pass the ball like he's Chris Paul. He's not going to defend like he's Ben Wallace. He's just not going to do that. Yet the fans expect him to average 6 assists a game and get like 2 to 4 stocks. Like, it's unrealistic. Cam Thomas, if you're going to put those same parameters on Cam Thomas, then put the same parameters on better players that make the All-Star team, and do all this stuff. Like, why can't Luka Doncic defend then? Like, we got to start keeping the same energy with people, because that's kind of what we got to do. it seems that only players like, funny that they're both Nets now, Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. get shtick for not passing the ball, where that's just not his role. His role is to just space the floor and shoot the ball.
To echo off Tyler, like, I know Cam's a phenomenal shooter, and his reference stats are, I'm going off of just his past 2 seasons because they echo the same thing. Last year, he took 8 shots a game average. No, 18 shots, made 8. That's almost 50%. This year, same thing in 25 games. The season before was 66, so same echo. 18 shots a game, 8 shots made. That's almost 50% made. His three-point percentage could be better. He's shooting only 35% from 3.
It's not bad.
He's never been a
not terrible,
three-point
though.
shooter. That's why he goes in the mid-range.
His 2-point percentage is above 50%. That's probably layups, like you said, mid-range, everything else. He's averaging 24 points a game. Great points.
I'm trying to find there was a Cam Thomas that I saw.
I think the shots he takes are average for a score. He makes half of them. That's kind of how it works for every score.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not including his first and second year. He took 8 shots a game. That was his rookie year. So I'm going off of just the past recent years, the 2 years that we had.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant say amazing things about Cam Thomas.
Yeah,
right? Like they vouch for this guy a lot.
Yeah.
So look,
I don't
if those
see
guys are saying it, then
I've been
know?
a big Cam Thomas advocate since we drafted the kid.
Yeah.
So why is it that the media portrays him in this light?
Because the Nets have never been in positive media in at least like
Very
7
true.
or 8 years.
Good point.
Ever since the 2018-19 team was a feel-good story. We had all those guys coming together. They were dancing on the bench. Then we get Kyrie and KD. We exile D'Lo out to Golden State. And, Kevin Durant doesn't play. Kyrie plays like maybe half the season. And then the year afterwards, Kevin Durant comes back. Winning cures everything. We had a phenomenal season. Then it all fell apart. And then shit hit the fan the rest of the season. And, one thing led to another. Ben Simmons is here. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are gone. Mikal Bridges comes in, and then it's just been a nightmare ever since. And we're trying to get ourselves out of this mess, and it just seems like we're digging ourselves a deeper hole.